start also the recording, which started. So one more second for the sharing to work. You should be seeing now the presentation which you do. And welcome to the presentation of the call for expression of interest for FEST for the NEB Festival 2025. So just before diving into the specific call, a bit of a broader zooming out from this specific call to the whole event. So we are speaking about the NEB Festival, which is a biennial event that invites people to celebrate and take stock of the progress of European Bauhaus. The next year we will organize already the third edition of the NEB Festival, and in addition to the three pillars of the festival that the calls are published and you see written here, so the fest, fair and satellite events, there is also the fourth pillar is the forum, which is the conference discussion part. There are no calls for that, but it's an integral part of the festival and also open for everybody to participate there as well. We had the info session on the fair starting at 2. The recording will be available, and we'll share the links on our website and social media if you're interested in that. But before diving into the fest call, let's just spend a minute on the overarching topic for the NEB Festival 2026. While conceptualizing what the festival should be about, I mean, of course, it's about European Bauhaus, but European Bauhaus is super wide when it comes to different topics that we engage with. And we haven't found the magic formula how to incorporate all of that in one festival. Therefore, as the first and the second festival had their own focuses, also this year's festival has a focus. The focus is linked on one end, what the European Bauhaus has evolutionized with. So you probably heard about the NEB facility, which is a multi-annual financial tool that entered into force this year and focuses on revitalization of neighborhoods and is very much linked to the built environment. But there are also contemporary challenges on the level of the EU and also political priorities of the European Commission. So the festival topics, the themes, are kind of on the intersection of these three big blocks of influences, to call them like that. So while thinking about this festival, there was one leading quote from a famous architect, Jan Gehl, who said that a space to reimagine our built environment should be placing first life, then spaces, and then buildings. And in this regard, we also want to talk about our interactions a lot in the society and through about two specific aspects to that. And those are covered by the first two bullet points you see. So on one hand, what is the transformative power of democratic engagement in shaping more inclusive and sustainable communities? And also on the other hand, how empowered citizens and local authorities can play an active role in creating their environment. So this is both linked to the transformations that are happening on the ground. European Bauhaus is a very much place-based initiative. It's focused on transforming, changing our living spaces for the better. It was conceived like that together with many actors across Europe, and this is also what we are following going for at this festival. And then the third bullet point points out to the affordable housing as another big topic, but not just per se, just the affordable housing, just the buildings or just the built environment as such, but also as a cornerstone of democratic participation and a huge influencer on the social fabric of our everyday lives. So while this is the big umbrella, this is the big umbrella theme and then umbrella topics, other topics can also come into it. And here we then speak about specific calls, in this particular case about the fest, and which are then the eligible initiatives. So of course, the overall topics should be reflected, but it's not that we do not accept or that any other applications moving towards other topics would be automatically discarded. It's not like that. But what it is important that all the applications need to follow are the following, right? So the proposals should promote the values of the NEB and the development of beautiful, sustainable spaces and the ways of living together. And this is just the other way of saying that the proposals for the fest should reflect the European Bauhaus values, which are three: the aesthetics, sustainability, and inclusion, or togetherness, and at least one European Bauhaus principle, which are also three: multi-level engagement, transdisciplinary approach, and participatory process. So no matter what is the topic that your activity deals with, it needs to reflect the NEB values and at least one principle to have at least chance to be scored high enough to be selected to become a part of the festival. Then when we speak about the eligible initiatives here, the selection is super wide. So we speak about contemporary languages of artistic experimentation, music, live audiovisual shows, public projections, participatory theater, documentary theater, dance and performances. And this is not an exhaustive list. These are just examples that we listed, but are definitely not limiting any other type of activities, artistic performances or performances in general. And then the third link that should be there for NEB is that the activities should relate to at least one of the thematic axes. So thematic axes are described in the communication on European Bauhaus that defines what the European Bauhaus today is, and they have been identified together with, they have been extrapolated from 2000 contributions that we got in the beginning of the Bauhaus back in the prehistoric 2021. Basically, it feels like an eternity ago. If you've gone through the application, you see that there's a specific question asking you to which thematic axis you relate to, and there are four, but please do note that you only need to adhere to one, the same as with the principles there. So when we sorry, yeah, I was speaking about this. Apologies for a bit of a brain fart here. So now you can see this also on your screens. The eligible initiatives, what they need to reflect to, and what are the thematic axes. We would also like to share with you today about the evaluation process of the application, so you have an understanding how your applications will be assessed. So the proposals are split into, the assessment is split into two parts. One is the content evaluation, and then the other one are technical and budget evaluations. The content evaluations are done by external experts that have in-depth knowledge about NEB and have very different profiles, while the technical and budget evaluation will be done by the professionals, so the production and events team that will help us also deliver the festival next year. If we dive more or explain a bit the content evaluation criteria. So this amounts to 60 points with three different categories. The first one being the connection to European Bauhaus values and thematic access, that amounts to 30 points. Then is the quality of the proposal and the engagement activities. So what kind of activity you present and how you plan to engage with visitors or the bypassers of the festival, and what kind of moment of conviviality you kind of anticipate. That's those part of questions in the application form. And then is about the communication plan. So meaning, what do you plan to communicate in regards to your participation? How do you plan to communicate in regards to your participation at the festival, before, during, and also after the festival? When we speak about the technical and budget evaluation criteria, there are three subcategories here. So one is the capacity of the proposed activity budget to deliver the proposal. This is up to 10 points. The impact of related costs on the festival budget. So this is what you propose compared to what we can accommodate with the budget that's available. And then the third one being the capacity of the proposal to fit into the proposed venue and the program of the festival. So here it's kind of internal. So as much as we would like to accommodate and host all of the activities, we are limited by the space, by the budget, and yeah, basically these two things that are what they are, and we don't recommend what kind of budget or what kind of activity or what the cost of the activity to deliver it there should be, but rather leave this open and have an evaluation showcasing what can be done, what cannot be done, and where there's space for maybe some flexibility, but needs to be further discussed. And all of these things will then come after the evaluation proposals will be published, which is still the plan is, despite the changing of the submission deadline, which was extended for 2 weeks to 15th of October. The evaluation period will start immediately after we close the application procedure, will last until throughout October and then into November. And we plan to notify, to inform you about the results of the selection process by mid-December. So everybody already knows what will or will not happen in 2026 in that regards, and should offer should give enough time and space to prepare, to follow up, and then come to the festival. I would like to conclude this part just with a few tips and tricks, more tips because no tricks are basically needed, but that's how we call them. So the first one would be that we really recommend you to use the NEB Compass to understand or better understand the NEB values and principles. What we mean with sustainability, beauty, and aesthetics. Sustainability, beauty, and inclusion, and as well as with the three working principles. So the multi-level approach, transdisciplinarity, and the participatory approach. The NEB Compass not only describes these values and principles, but also introduces 3 different ambitions. So how far you go with each of the values and principles, and then to also offers questions that allow you to self-reflect on your specific activity, how participatory it is, how related to aesthetic, to the value of aesthetic it is, and so on and so forth. And you will also see in the compass one statement that not all, so the NEB aligned projects, activities, performances that are aligned with NEB do not need to equally address all the values and principles, because normally, I mean, it is normal that some activities or some type of activities better adhere to some values, maybe better adhere to sustainability than do the participation, and they are super sustainable, maybe even regenerative, which is the highest ambition of sustainable value, than on the participation. So, and that's completely okay. You do not need to be the best on the top throughout the 3 values or through the chosen NEB principle. So our recommendation is don't try to beef up how much you align just for the sake of aligning your proposed activity with NEB. We do not expect and we do not search for perfect NEB projects and initiatives in any case. The third one being that the quality of the proposal criteria evaluation is strongly influenced by 3 parts. Already partly mentioned before. So the innovative aspect of the proposed activity on the proposed participation and engagement activities, or how you want to engage and include festival visitors into your activities, and the conviviality proposed. Fourth, I think quite important information is also the link to what we already said, but here to reiterate it. So the budget, the technical part, right, will be assessed by production and events professionals. Please be concise with technical requirements, and also with your budget estimates that you're required to also submit to go in the application as such, because of course the people know their job well, so it makes sense to be fully transparent when it comes to this. The second to last would be that if you have specific requests that you think you do not fall under any other category or question in the application form, there's the additional information question under the about the activity part, which is page number 3. If you look at the application, how the application is split, and there you also don't have a specific limit on the number of characters, and you can really add the information that you feel is essential for the complete assessment of your application. And then last but not least, if in doubt, please write to us. and we'll do our best to address your questions and concerns. We do get quite a lot of requests, but we try to be as quick as possible. Please do expect it as the application deadline will come closer. Probably we will receive more requests, which will mean that the response time from us will increase because we have the same number of people working, whether we have 10 requests per day or 50 requests per day. So we don't have a capacity to increase there. And also in general, please do not wait until the last moment to submit the application. I understand we have, all of us, we have a lot on our plates. There's a lot of going on. I'm just saying don't wait until the last moment, because you never know also what can happen with the technical platform. So the EU survey platform where the applications are is normally super stable. 99% of the time nothing happens, but nothing bad happens or no technical issues arrive. But if they will, that can make an issue, of course, with submitting the application if you wait for the last moment as such. Here are also our contact information. I think especially relevant is this one, about the email one, where you can always write to us. We will send the presentations to everybody according to the email you input when joining the session. But this presentation will also be then available on our website, and the recordings of this session will be available on our YouTube with links on the website. I put a full stop here when it comes to the presentation, but open the floor for questions and exchanges that you might have. Who would like to come in first? G. Benedict, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we do very well.
Great. Yeah, I have three questions. With the budget, is it possible to give different options? Like with the production I'm planning to submit, there is a version that would just involve 2 people, and there's a version that would involve 5 people. And that would, I mean, it depends on what the circumstances are, but there would be some flexibility then in terms of the budget of what is possible and not. So is it possible to kind of have a 3-stage budget to say, like, if we bring 5 people, the full cast, it would be this, and if we do a more simpler version, it will be 3 or 2, and then.
Yeah, that's please do. Yeah, that will help with the decision making, definitely.
Okay, and then the second question I have with the participatory aspect. So because there is a question which is like, is it under quotation marks just a performance or exhibition or whatnot, or is it a participatory theater, etc.? And so what exactly do you mean? If I have a play that has, a Q&A session at the end, is this participatory, or does it mean you're involving the audience in the performance and that is participatory?
I mean, both are participatory, definitely. I would reiterate what I said with the NEB values, that do not go overboard with something that does not feel as a part of the performance activity in general.
But we have to actually tick a box there. So
yeah,
I wouldn't, because I'm planning to involve the audience, but it's not the kind of thing where then they go on stage and do something. It's more like to afterwards have a dialogue with the audience. And would that then go under participatory or not? I guess that's my question.
Would go under participatory. But I also invite Lorenzo, my colleague, to chip in here.
Boards. I just wanted to take the floor to make a little to add something, because participation is a principle that we consider also in the making of a project. So, for example, whenever you include a team that is coming from different backgrounds, and you work, for example, with kids to create your project, your performance, etc. I'm just making examples here. So it doesn't need it doesn't mean to be that the project itself will have to be a piece of participatory theater that where everybody, you know, where you call people in. It could also be, for example, last year we had a choir, or we had musicians playing some pieces. They were not necessarily involving the audience in the piece itself, but maybe, you know, the project had been designed with several people in a diverse team of artists, etc. So that's what we mean by participation, I think.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, it's just because there is specifically the question we have to tick a box, and that's why I mean, I know there's one part where we can explain how participatory it is, but there is a second place in the application where we specifically have to tick a box. So that's why I double checked now.
Thank you. And the third question?
Actually, that's it. Thank you.
That's it. Okay. If something else, you can still come in.
Yeah.
So the question from Marina is, how many applications will be selected? Lorenzo, for this one is, can you help me? Is it?
So we don't have a fixed number here because it will depend quite a lot on the number on the projects that we receive. Maybe we will have very good applications that involve a lot of artists, which would increase the budgets, or very complex performances that would need a very heavy technical support. So the final number will depend on the type of applications, of winning applications that we have there. So it could be last year, I think it was around 20 to 30 performances between different types. I guess that's maybe something realistic in terms of number, but I cannot give an amount right now.
Thank you, Lorenzo. So similarly to the question of Margot, could you please tell us how much was allocated for each cultural activity in previous edition? Margot, I don't know if you refer to the budget or space or timing. So if you could maybe expand on that in your question. While from the project Orfeo, is the budget limited? It's also quite a general question, but yes, the budget is limited, but also going back to what Lorenzo said, we have a limited budget. I mean, we know what the budget, we know what our budget for the fest is, but that cannot be directly translated to how much each performer or artist or the selected applicant will receive in that regards, because yeah, like Lorenzo said, different scales of activities, different sizes of teams coming in will all influence it. But what is there, that is fixed on the budget is on our side is the covering of travel and accommodation costs for the performers and the flat fee. Yes, you can apply both to the fest and the fair. No limitations, no limitations there. Though you have to be really, I mean, it's a lot to be at the fest and at the fair, so therefore the explanation or the argumentation should be strong in that regards. Marco is saying, do the activities of the project proposals have to be limited to the day of the festivals, or in case of the participatory process can be expanded? So when it comes to the participatory processes as presented by Lorenzo, of course, they can take place before or after. But if the activity has the participatory process on the spot, should take place after during the festival, but it can extend beyond it, of course, then as well. I hope that answers the question. Maciej, how much is the flat fee? It's 950 euros, and you didn't miss it. We didn't mention it specifically. When preparing the presentations for this call, we opted just to go through some of the points of the calls rather to go deep into the call documentation, because you can all read that, and it's not that much of a document when it comes to that. But yeah, 950 euros is a flat fee. Any other questions, perhaps? Or if it's something unclear on how we present it. The overall budget is not something that we communicate, so I cannot answer that question. Any other questions? If not now, like we said before, always welcome to send us the questions directly. I will put also our email address here where you can send us. Do you know what the venues will be available? So yeah, our main what we want to do is to have the same venue as in 2024. So last year, so we want to have the venue in the Museum of Art and History in San Cantenaire in Brussels, but we still have not completed the discussion and negotiations for the venue. Therefore, we didn't announce it yet. So our plan A is, of course, to be there, but if that will not materialize, then we have some alternatives ready, but we only want to pursue those if for any reason the primary venue would not be secured. Maze is asking, there are some sample budget. So no, we didn't provide it. We didn't provide a template for the budget or examples of previous applications. We cannot really share them because we can share them. So with the budget, when it comes, is well, keep it simple and readable would be my recommendation there. Have it clear what is what in terms of either equipment or staff or production costs, how much you anticipate. So I mean, simple figures, simple presentation works best in that regards. We work with precarious and from diversity. We will food the, I guess, Project Orfeo, you mean that you would like to distribute food. In terms of the activity, when it comes to the festival, I don't think that that's any issue, as long as it complies with all the other rules that might be there. Here I'm speaking a bit blindly because I do not know the area. But if there are any rules linked to the distribution of food, those should be followed. But yeah, for us it will be also to double check on whether there are any special requests from those that manage the venue in that regard. Yes, Maisie, you're eligible to apply as an American, so to both calls, so to the fair and the fest, applications are welcome from EU and also beyond. No limitations there. But Lorenzo already replied that, sorry. Voila, I don't see any questions that would be still outstanding. I don't want to keep you more than we announced it, so 30-minute info session. Thanks a lot for your interest, and also hopefully we will see many of your applications coming in by 15th of October. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out, or any issues with different parts of the application or something is not clear. Thanks a lot for your attention. Thank you, Lorenzo, for and Marco for helping implement both sessions. And have a good day, and hopefully see you in Brussels next year. Take care. Bye bye.